Hi everyone, welcome to Gig Harbor, Washington, where the anchor all began. We are standing here in front of a net shed, and for those of you who don't know what a net shed is, our town is an old fishing community, and back in the day, the fishermen would come off the water and bring their boats in and bring their nets into these net sheds to be repaired and get equipped and just get a little rest off the water. So we thought, what a great analogy for the anchor where it first began is this place where women of all ages can come to gather and be together and be restored and be encouraged. So we are excited right now to announce that this month we are going to begin to share an anchor moment with you. And an anchor moment is a time in your life when your faith has really been grounded and you've seen God at work for real. And we are thrilled that we are going to be able to share with you stories from women of all kinds of backgrounds and all ages, and our hope and prayer is that you would be encouraged.
Hi there, I'm Jenny Fronsman. Thanks for clicking over and taking the time to listen to my story. I get to share a little bit about my faith journey today, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself first. I live in Lake Stevens with my husband. I work in the physical therapy industry, which I love. He's a carpenter. We do lots of home renovations, and here we are in our home, COVID season. I curled my hair today. It's been a while. I'm like, I think I might have forgotten how to do this. Put on a top, and I have my pajama pants on the bottom. So there you go. I also love writing and love being active. Love my friends too and family. So I'm going to start out by sharing the moment where I really met Jesus when I was really little, and how that moment anchored me and kept me strong and steady during a season that's really on my heart to share the most about from this past year. So when I was 3 years old, as a bitty girl, I remember thinking, I want to have Jesus in my heart. I was 3, so I'm not sure how much I knew about Jesus, but I just knew I wanted him in my heart. And I love that because I just know that was God coming to me. And I went and got my dad, and he prayed with me in my room. And I remember feeling this warm feeling come over me, this tangible presence. And that's something I remember so clearly, and something that I felt the days going forward through all the ups and downs that led me fast forward to my 20s and 30s, early 30s. I'm going to be 34. That season of life was really fun. It was really full. I led young life in Mukilteo and in Lake Stevens. I got to take kids to camp, which will always be a life highlight for me. Did a lot of fun things with friends, went on fun trips. In the midst of that, I also started to feel this inner turmoil and darkness that I didn't understand, and I didn't know what it was. I did what I knew how to do at the time, talked to a couple therapists, talked to friends, filled my life with more good and fun things, but things didn't get better. I began when I was 26. I started not being able to sleep. I went for 8 years where I could not sleep. I would have vivid nightmares, and they were always of me running from something evil, and I didn't understand it. Looking back now, I can say there was a lot of pain in my life that I didn't know how to sit with or how to address at the time, until come February 2019. This is a marked time that forever changed my life. This is my first time sharing my story on any kind of platform aside from friends and family. So thanks for being here with me. But that month, I lost a long time 10-year coworker and mentor of mine who I love dearly, he died by suicide. Short after that, I just experienced the pain of a really horrific trauma that happened to somebody very close to me. And then really shortly after that, there were issues in my marriage that have been kind of bubbling up that were getting to a boiling point. And my husband and I are really open and honest about our story. So I say, I need more time for the whole story, but what I do share here, I share with his knowing. But there was truth in my marriage I had unknowingly run from, and honestly, I just could not literally see at the time. And that was my husband was stuck deep in an addiction cycle, and it was the saddest thing, an addiction cycle of substance abuse, namely alcoholism, as well as engaging in verbally abusive, aggressive communication with me. Now, I had tried everything that I knew how to do to try to get help for us, and nothing had worked. So it came to a point where I couldn't be in that marriage anymore. So we went through a season of separation, and it was for months, it was for a while. I remember in the wake of all these events thinking, one day I have to not brush through this part that comes next after these events, because hearing other people's stories that went through darkness and came to hope were like a lifeline for me. So I hope this might be encouraging to you or someone you know. But I remember feeling like the lights had gone out in my life. I felt just a soul-shattering darkness, and I also felt this physical piercing pain that went on for months and months and months. And my days were hard. It was hard to get up in the morning. I went through my day feeling like I was in a fog. I was going through a lot of therapy at the time and had so much support from family and friends, but I just remember on my worst days thinking, I am in so much pain. I don't know if I can do this anymore. I'm just in too much pain. And the thing that helped me in that season was taking time. It was 10 minutes and sitting in quiet with God. For the first time in my life, I was stopped in my tracks because I literally barely felt like I could do anything. And I stopped and I faced grief and pain and trauma that happened not just in recent years, but other things, from years past that I just hadn't faced because I didn't know how. And I found in that space with God in quiet, it was so healing for me. And my faith that had started when I was 3, that held and carried me through, but my own images of myself and of God did not, because they were too small and they weren't strong enough. So in that space, I asked a lot of hard questions. God, who am I? How did I get into a relationship of this marriage? I don't understand. You say you're good, but I'm in so much pain. And it was in those moments of just wrestling, being honest with God, that I really felt his love just come around me. I got incredible pictures, metaphors that would come to mind, and just felt this presence so close. And it was really in that time of sitting with darkness and pain that I was able to start a healing process of going back and speaking truth to lies from my past and debunking old narratives that had put me down and made me small. And I found the journey of knowing our true selves is also a journey of knowing our Creator, God. We're made in God's image, which I just love. Each one of us, I love seeing the image of God in other people. And there's so many verses in the Bible about God's Spirit in us. And in fact, one of them I have right here, it's in John. It says, "And I will ask the Father, and he will give you another counselor to be with you forever, the Spirit of truth. The world cannot accept him because it neither sees him nor knows him, but you know him, for he lives with you and will be in you." That is powerful, the same Spirit that raised Christ from the dead. And so I was knowing myself, my beautiful, made in the image of God, kind, true, lovely self, and yours too. That was a real treasure that I took from that season. And it's always a journey, right? Knowing our true selves and knowing God, it's a beautiful journey. But I'm just here to say, on the other side of those seasons of darkness, there is hope and there is new life. I am just now, after a long winter of pain, coming into a spring with some new growth. And my marriage is probably a story for another time, where my husband could be here sharing, because there's like so many miracles and neat things to share. But the short version is, our marriage was redeemed, and my husband's been sober for almost 9 months. He went back through his past and named what caused the addictions and faced those things in his life, as well as what had caused engaging in the kind of communication that he was. And it has been so neat to see him living in freedom. When I returned to my marriage, it was to a repentant and changed man. So there is always hope if the person's willing to change. And I'm so grateful that he was. And we also work with a great therapist. I already mentioned that. Okay, where am I here in my notes? So I just wanted to end today and say, me today, after going through the season, I am changed. I live with a lot of deep joy, as well as deep sorrow for what goes on in the world, things that happened in my life this week, things that happened this morning. But I also live with a deep hope and just a knowing that I'm gonna be okay in life, facing sorrow, pain. I'm not afraid of pain anymore, because I know that God goes with me to those painful places, and he brings redemption. And I think the redeeming work of Christ I see in myself and in others is truly journeying with him and bringing wholeness to the different parts of brokenness in our lives. And I wanted to share quickly a few books I love to read that helped me a lot during this season. When the Heart Waits by Sue Monk Kidd. This is a beautiful book. This was sitting like right beside my Bible on my nightstand all through that season. I still read it often and go back and look at quotes. Love Henry Noun, Inner Voice of Love. It's his journey through anguish to freedom. This is an incredible book. Really helped me a lot. Home Tonight, he gives some beautiful reflections on the parable of the prodigal son and bringing our own souls home to God the Father. So thanks for listening. Thanks for letting me share. I think my contact info might be on the blog. If not, I'm on social media as Jenny Fronsman. Would love to connect with you. All right. Take care. Love to you.